today to Tuesday's Table Talks. I'm your host, Lotus.
And I'm Tigra.
And this is our guest. Our special guest today is Dr. Karessa Morrow.
Hi.
Well, actually, we're glad to be here, of course, as always. So we had a little bit of camera issues. So sorry for those if we're just a tad bit late and if we're a little strange today, but that's okay. As always, we're in the beautiful space of Love and Light Cuisine on this wonderful day. It's actually awesome today in St. Louis. The temperature is like 62. So yes, we've had a pretty good day. And we're very excited about what's in store for today's topic, which is self-care with our special expert, educator, all around bestseller, just phenomenal woman. And this is our last day of Black History Month. And also tomorrow starts our first day of Women's History Month. So we have an awesome show and we are honored to have this special guest with us today. So Dr. Morrow, if you want to let everybody know a little bit about yourself.
My name is Karessa Morrow. I am an educator. I've been in the field of education for 38 years. I've been a principal, a reading coach, also educator, as I said, in the field of education now. So basically, that's about me.
Yes. And so you've written quite a few books. We have them all laid out here, ranging from literacy, financial self-care to essential self-care. And so we were kind of mentioning it earlier before the camera started rolling about when I came to you about Black women and people in general struggling with self-care, but Black women in general, we talked about. So tell us kind of what you were saying earlier, because that really kind of just sets it off.
Yes, the conversation that you and I engaged in was about why is it that African-American women have such a hard time with self-care? And as I reflect on that conversation, I thought about the females in my family, and I thought about my grandmother. And what comes to mind is that as an African-American female, what I recall about her is that ever since I have known her, she has always been of service to other people. And I'm often wonder, or I often infer, has she taken time just to say, today I'm going to spend 5 minutes of me time, or today I'm going to go for a walk, or today I'm going to rest. But as African-American women, we are always giving of ourselves to our spouse, to our family members, to our family, our friends, our coworkers, and we don't prioritize ourselves. And today, when I think about my self-care journey, I'm always trying to prioritize myself instead of being at the bottom of my to-do list. How do I prioritize myself at the top of my to-do list? So when I write my list down, I'm thinking like, okay, you're going to do this for this person, this person, this person, but what do you range? What do you fall on your own to-do list? So as African-American, when we have to prioritize ourselves and make ourselves a priority, we have to.
How do we do that when in the midst of, everyone's calling us, I need you to do this. I need this. Your kids is like, Mom, it's everybody, you're pulled from everything. You have this feeling of obligation and that you're sometimes, I can't speak for everyone, but sometimes I feel bad or like I'm not being a good friend or a good mother if I cannot always say yes.
Yeah, I think about that. One of my family members who I'm very close with, my aunt, I think about ever since I was 5 years old and how she's always has catered to everybody else. And I always used to try to tell her, you need to sit down and rest. But when I look at her today, the detrimental of her health today, she's not able to take care of herself today, because if we don't make time, if we don't slow down, if we don't prioritize ourselves in the long run, it's going to impact your health. And so today, when you think about health and wellness, when you think about self-care or your own self-care journey, as African-American female, we have to pause, we have to stop and just say, today, I need to think about did I make myself a priority? And if you don't, why don't you make yourself a priority?
Right.
Why is that?
Right. I love one of the pictures that we chose to post was a t-shirt that you had. Actually, this is what we titled the broadcast as self-care isn't selfish.
Yes.
And I think too, sometimes we misinterpret what the definition of self-care is. And from me, and also with seeing your books here displayed, it's a holistic aspect. It's everything. It's taking care of every aspect that's in regard to you and your life. So like you have this book here, Financial Self-Care 101, and understanding that we need to take specific time, make ourselves priority in all aspects.
That's correct.
All aspects.
Yeah, because when you think about self-care, as you say, we think about going to the spa, we're thinking about the outward appearance, but financially, if you cannot take care of yourself, if you cannot pay your bills, if you cannot buy food, if you can't, just provide the finance that you need for yourself, then that is a part of self-care. And so, when I think about teenagers with kids, that's another part of self-care.
Yes.
So I think when you say a holistic approach, that is physical, emotional, social, all of that mental. We have to look at our holistic health and wellness to figure out, what am I doing for my spiritual? Am I feeding myself from a spiritual perspective? What am I doing for myself emotionally, mentally, financially? So socially,
right.
One of the things that I'm looking at before I retire, I'm putting my schedule together, and I'd look at Monday would be me time. Tuesday, probably be financial self-care time. Wednesday, looking at it from a different perspective, would probably be, I thought about it. I said, okay, what would that look like? That may be mental, looking at my mental. Saturday would be self-care time. Friday would be my social self-care time. And then Sunday will be my spiritual self-care. So always trying to figure out, how do I get back to self-care where I can prioritize myself instead of neglecting myself? Because after 38 years and being of service to the community, and now looking at myself saying, okay, now getting ready to retire, but you still need to prioritize yourself and give of yourself to other people, but also make your own self a priority. So when I think about my self-care journey, and I kept saying, okay, you give to the world the best of you, and then there's nothing left of you. So you got to make yourself a priority, because that's what we do as African Americans. We give our jobs 100%, 110%. And then you talk about time for me.
Right.
You burn out.
Right.
And so I look at educators today, and I'm constantly saying, wow, you did 40 years, but why leave a job and you broke down and you're not mobile and you can't take care of yourself? You're not able, because your self-care or your health and wellness is not up to par.
Right.
So that's what I start looking at. When I leave education, I want to make sure that I'm mobile, and then I made myself a priority, and then my health and wellness is good. So that's where I am today.
And I think particularly educators who have been in the field for this length of time, because you've always given so much of yourself to the students, especially serving our inner city youth.
Yes.
I've just seen from experience how teachers are just giving themselves, purchasing things for themselves, doing things for the children on their own. And then I think you went to a conference and they were like, what did they say to you? Like, we know, who are you outside of your job? You're so used to being just that and giving all of that.
It was at work, a professional development day. And I kept looking at my teachers, and they was, just complaining. They was burnout and they was stressing. And so I brought in the Mental Health Association, and the question she said was, and it was like a light bulb moment for me, who are you outside of work? And when she said that, I paused. I went home and did my journal writing, and I said, who am I outside of work? Because I come from a family that's all we have done was work.
Right.
And so talking about self-care, me time, that was unheard of. And so when you said African-American women, Black women, we are struggling with self-care, I guess it's a new movement. It's a new self-care movement where we talk about workplace balance.
Right.
Now, as African-American women, we have to say, okay, self-care movement. Because the conversation was never heard of in the African-American race. And so today I'm like, okay, let me educate everybody. So therefore we can say, look, I got to make myself a priority. And when I look at my nieces and my family members, you know, I'm really promoting the self-care movement because it's more to life than work. And we have to prioritize our mental health and our self-care and our health and wellness because we haven't been trained or had that conversation when you think about the African-American race. We have always had to work, take care of our family, our friends, our loved one, the pastors, everybody. And then you look at your health and say, well, what about me? What about me?
We're the nurturers of, you know, the families and of the community.
Yes.
You know, women in general are. I think also it's important to point out that sometimes, well, a lot of times because maybe because of our culture and because of tradition and because of us working so hard and because we've seen, you know,
grandmothers,
aunts, and great grandmothers and aunts and everybody work until it's time to go to sleep, you know, and sometimes it's, you know, not even just, even if it's home, it's 3 to 4 different jobs, you know, it's all day from sun up to sundown. Sometimes it's even hard to be able to receive, you know, like, you know, I got a break here. Let me take a break and take that for myself. Even when we have the time, we may not necessarily know how to utilize it because we're not used to it.
And that's what my aunt said here in St. Louis. Her daughter died at 27 and doing childbirth. And so she took on her 3 kids. Oh, wow. And so when I would go over there to try to support her, I would say, you need to sit down and rest. And she said, oh no.
She don't know how.
She
don't know how.
Yes. And so today, you know, I look at her and look at her health and wellness. And that's why I knew that I had to go on a different journey, a self-care journey.
Beautiful.
Because if not, I was heading in the same direction, which means that's all I knew.
Right.
How to serve everybody else but myself. And I said, no, I have to break this cycle.
Right.
And show my family members there's more to life than work. Right. Because every time I would go over there cleaning, cooking, and I would say, you need to sit down and rest. Oh no, So you just said it. She did not know how, because when you look at the culture, how we was raised, you have to stay busy and looking for something to do. And so whether it's anxiety, whatever it is something that as African-American women, sit down, be still.
No, we feel like we're gonna, you know, if we don't sit down, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna get behind and work.
The world's gonna fall apart.
Yeah, the world is gonna fall apart.
And today, this is what she said. She said, you told me to sit down, Karessa. Now I'm forced to sit down.
Yeah, see.
And my heart is broken. My heart is broken. It's broken because if you hadn't been trained, if you have not engaged in those type of conversation, just like today, the idea that we come together to even talk about self-care, to support each other, to encourage each other. If she had somebody to say, it's okay for you to sit down, you don't always have to be working.
Right.
You don't always have to be in service to other people. But if you don't have those courageous conversations around sisterhood, self-care journey, me time, you know, then you don't know.
Right.
So when I think about the culture and where we are today, I'm really happy that self-care journey, me time, you know, everybody have something that they need to say, I need to look at my health and wellness.
Right.
I need to pause.
Can we talk about like some of the physical issues or some of the health issues that may occur, which, I mean, It's
Yes.
everything, from high blood pressure,
diabetes, hypertension, all of that.
hypertension.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, anxiety, depression.
Yes.
And the stress that
also,
leads to strokes.
Yes.
And all
strokes,
that.
cancer.
Yes. Yes.
Building
Yes.
some of those really physical diseases that can be caused from us not taking breaks.
Yes.
A lot of it's caused from stress.
Yeah,
that's the root problem is stress. And so really, because as African American women, we internalize so much that you suppress it.
Yeah.
And when you don't get it out, then it leads to other things.
Yes.
It builds up within.
That's correct. And so when I listen to her talk now, I hear the pain.
Yes.
I took care of them and now nobody wants to take care of me.
Going through trauma. That's
yes.
a lot of trauma.
And so when I think about self-care, again, I have to say, no, I'm going home from work. I'm going to be still. No, I cannot do this. And it's hard to say no when you're used to being of service.
And doing it all.
Okay.
And I think that's true. We need to know that wearing the badge of a superwoman or whatever we consider that to be.
Black woman.
We don't.
Yes.
That's not always that definition is that
That's
you have
correct.
to do everything.
Yes.
And because most of the time we're not going to be able to complete. We're not going to be able to do
Yes.
everything.
But I think it go back to, again, our culture.
It is.
That the self-care movement is saying you don't have to be the strong Black woman anymore. And it does not mean you're not strong because you say, no.
Yeah.
Self-care isn't selfish.
Yes.
I need to take care of my health and wellness so that I can pour into other people. Because if I don't pour into myself, then I won't be able to serve or pour into other people.
Right.
And so that's why when I think about self-care isn't selfish, and then when I came up with this book, self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Because during the pandemic, educator was like, wait a minute, we don't know how to Zoom. We don't know how to do all this on the internet and use this technology, but it impacted our mental health. I tell everybody now something good came out of it because as educated, we don't get to drink water during the day and go to the restroom when we want to. So being at home during the pandemic and being able to drink your water, go to the restroom when you wanted to, teacher was like, oh, wow, I love this.
Right.
So again, just prioritizing yourself. And even today, now that we're back at work, I see a shift. Which means teachers are taking off of work. They prioritizing their mental health.
Taking its time.
And so when I think about the Great Resignation, and they talk about all the people that resigned from their job and saying, hey, I'm working from home.
Right.
I'm sorry, whether you like it or not.
It taught us how to be entrepreneurial.
That is correct. So something good did come out of that. But I think more so the self-care movement, the self-care journey really, really opened up our eyes that, you know what? I can do a better job to take care of myself and look at my own health and wellness and prioritize myself at the top of my list, not at the bottom of my list.
Right.
So for women who are still struggling with this, how would you suggest they start their journey? I would think maybe starting those healthy boundaries of the power of no. What would you suggest?
I think when I look at my journey, I'm gonna think about myself because, as I say, I was at work and, being a super strong Black woman, like, okay, I got this, I can do this, I can do this. And when the presenter said, who are you outside of work? And because I have always prioritized my self-care, I always got massages twice a month. So, I said, okay, I got that. I know I do that. I was drinking my water, okay. Wasn't eating lunch, because just caught up in the work. And so then I said, wait a minute now, because I journal write every night.
That's beautiful.
And once I journal write every night, I start saying, who are you outside of work? And I said, well, who am I for real? Because I'm a daughter, I'm an aunt, I'm a niece, I'm a this, I'm that, I'm this and that. And I said, wait a minute now. Let's be real and be transparent about this. Who are you? And so when I wrote down my list and I said, okay, let's talk about self-care. What are you doing for yourself? Okay, I get my hair done. I go to the hair salon. Okay, I get my massages. But then what about your diet?
Yeah.
What about your physical party? Okay, my weight balance pretty good and all of that. Okay, when you go to the doctor, what is he saying about your hypertension? You're on the borderline. Start looking at it from all aspects. Yeah, I go to church, so I'm feeding my spiritual side of me. I'm looking at my emotional. I'm pretty calm all the time. My mental health. Okay, I pause and think and say, okay, you know what? Should you have said that? So when I think about the mental part, when I think about emotional, when I think about spiritual side of my self-care, I start saying, okay, now what else can you do to prioritize yourself to make it a better version of you? And so I think for me, it's a journey, because I'm like, okay, I'm still struggling.
Yes.
I'm struggling. And even though people think I got it together and I wrote all these books, look at my finance, like, okay, if you're retired today or your job ends, that's a journey.
Right.
Can you pay all your bills? Can you keep up with your lifestyle that you want to live? So I think for me, I would probably say just take it one day at a time, because as you take life one day at a time and you prioritize yourself, your sleep. Do you get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, or do you just function on 3 or 4? Because if you don't get the proper rest, then it will impact your emotional and your mental self-care. Because when you have to interact with family and friends, and you say, I'm frustrated today, or my thinking is off, then you have to look at your self-care, because you say, well, I must confess, I did not get the right amount of sleep. Because all of that impacts self-care as well as your finance. Okay, when you think about finance, if your money is short and you don't have enough money, that causes stress.
Right.
So you start looking at what causing you stress. What are your stressors? And then looking at your self-care to say, how can I avoid some of these stressors and prioritize my self-care where I can just be more balanced. And so when I think about workplace balance and I think about stress, the mental part of it today is all a part of your self-care journey. You have to look at it from that perspective. And be grateful, which means your gratitude, be thankful for things are as well as they are. Right. Say no.
Exactly.
Say no as much as possible. And then just start looking at, okay, what am I doing for me, though? I think that's the key for me. As I said, I'll be the first to say I'm always of service to other people. But in 2023, I push back with my family. And that's where I was struggling. And I'm like, okay, yes. I want to give. Let me give. But today, no.
I like how you stressed on 2023.
Yes, I did.
Because I believe spiritually, and it's been a great movement for all of us that we woke up like, okay, y'all, this is this is happening, this is what we're doing, and this is how we gonna do it. And we are prioritizing ourselves. I think for me, the biggest issue, and I'm still struggling with it, is being able to delegate. Okay. Within the household, because of us having so many chores and everything, trying to keep everything going, everything from work going, from, whatever needs to be done within the house, the family, keep it all balanced, and not allowing, if it's household members or whatever, to kind of assist, to be able to say, look, okay, y'all see these dishes, a sink full of dishes. You do the dishes on Tuesday, you do them on Wednesday, whatever, to free up some of that time. And I know, we hear these jokes and we see it on social media about Black mothers, Black grandmothers or aunties. And it's like, as soon as, we have somebody to do something, say, hey, would you go on and cut the grass, or you gonna cut the grass or take the trash out? They take a minute longer than what we expected.
Yeah, we go
and do it. So it's like, no, I got it. So we never, see the entire picture, of it. It's like, no, I don't have to be, Superwoman or Captain Save 'em all the time. This is not a badge I have to wear. It's an awesome badge to be able to, to delegate, to be in control, complete control over a situation and have your outcome take place as to what you expect to take place and not, not
because I read something and it's a sign that say, save yourself.
Thank you.
And,
thank you.
And I think that's, as African-American women, we try to save relationships,
everybody,
family members, kids at school,
everything.
Teachers.
And
then when you drowning, and then you have nobody to save you.
Yeah.
Save yourself.
Yes.
Now, what does that look like? It's different for each one of us.
Yes.
But that's part of the self-care movement.
Yes.
Save yourself. And so when I think about saving me, what would that look like? No, not today. I won't be able to do that right now. No, I can't bring that to you today. I'm gonna have to, look at my schedule and say, no, I got to keep my doctor appointment. I got to be there today at 3:00.
Right.
So again, prioritizing my own appointments, prioritizing my self-care and the things that I need to do for me instead of always saying, well, don't worry about it. I can do that later.
Right. I'll fit it in. I'm good at that.
Yeah.
I should be able to do it. And no, damn. Your schedule.
Yes. And it's hard because today on my way, I left work on time.
Beautiful.
And then my phone rang. And they said, Dr. Morrow, we have a situation. The bus is coming back to the school. Can you go out to the bus? Bus 15. And I said, unfortunately, I have already gone for today. I'm so proud of myself because the old
Karessa been rushing back. Right.
I'm on my way back.
Right.
I'm going to tell them I'm going to be late to my meeting.
Right.
So again, self-care.
That's beautiful.
And having boundaries now to say no.
So I know within the school system, especially with some of the behavior issues that are happening, I know it's more stressful on teachers than ever before. Have you seen anything in place or what would you suggest they put in place?
Well, one of the things that I noticed that the school district I was working for last year, they had a mental health day. I was very happy to know that we're moving in that direction. They had a self-care day. And one of the things that I'm really, really proud of is that as educators continue to talk about their own mental health, and even though we have EAP, which is part of our health and wellness program, is part of your insurance package or benefits package, that we have to start using those resources. And I think one of the things that I'm really a component of is therapy now. Because when I think about my colleagues, Caucasian colleagues, they take advantage of therapy and be like, hey, I gotta get my therapist appointment today. I have to leave on time. And then I think about African-American when we like, don't tell nobody I'm in therapy.
Right.
I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy.
Oh my.
I don't want to talk about that. That means you weak.
Right.
And that doesn't mean you weak. It helps you to unpack and organize and prioritize your own self-care, really. But again, that's another part of our mindset, our mental model, how we've been trained throughout over time that, you got to be a strong Black woman. You can't sit down. You can't rest. What do you mean you go into the gym today?
I still feel guilty when I take a nap. It's crazy. I feel sick. I'm like waking up. Oh my God, I've been asleep for 20 minutes.
No.
I feel so guilty. And I even notice it, if my partner comes home and I'm taking a nap, I'm like, oh my God, I should be doing this. I should be doing
this.
That's
our mental model. Again, we have to change our mental model and realize today, in order to save yourself, you have to have your own self-care journey. And it is not a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah.
Mine won't look like yours and yours won't look like mine.
That's important.
But we have to support each other and encourage each other. You have to go on your own self-care journey. You have to.
Definitely.
And not feel guilty about anything that you do for you.
I wonder if we should I don't know if we can put that in regards to affirmations or, or
Yes.
something, but making that a normal, practice,
Yes.
a daily practice of saying no. I'm saying no today. I am setting boundaries
That's
for
correct.
myself.
Yes.
I am making myself a priority. I am a priority. I can say
I'm going to
no.
meditate today.
Yes, I'm going to meditate. I'm
Yes.
going to go for a walk. I'm going to get outside, I'm going to eat something today,
Yes.
just
I'm going to drink my water.
Yes, yes.
So what do you say when you make some time for yourself? Let's say this is either my spa day or I'm going to go for a hike or run, whatever your thing is. Hey, Karessa, I need you to come do this at 2:00, but your hike is at 2:00.
Again, because I've been trained to be of service to other people. Today I say no. I have to prioritize my own self-care because somebody just called me again on the phone on my way, needed a credit card. The old Karessa would have said, okay, so when I get through with this meeting, I'll be over your house to give you the credit card. And I said, unfortunately, I no longer use credit cards. And I was so proud of myself because why am I making a bill
Right.
that I already know this person cannot pay?
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's my financial self-care.
That's right.
I got to take care of my finance because I can't keep supporting everybody in my family. And I think, again, prioritizing my own self-care, but looking at my own finance and say, wait a minute, if I keep doing this, and if I have an emergency or if I can't work, then
who's going to help me?
Exactly. That's part of your health and wellness. Being able to say no, stop putting myself in situations. As Oprah Winfrey say, don't give away your money if you need it back. Don't give it away. Whatever you give away,
you should be able to lose.
That is correct. You should be able to afford to lose it and not get it back. So whatever I give away now, I say, okay, I can afford to lose that. And that go with family and friends because, as you just said, no, I can't afford that. And I'm being honest and truthful with me because I can't afford that. Why am I giving you $500 when I need the $500 to do something I need to do? My spring break vacation coming up next month. And then if you don't give my money back, and then I keep calling you every day, asking you for my money, and then what I'm gonna say? I should have said no.
And we've all been through that.
Yes.
I wonder too, I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe we should do some sort of poll or something.
Yeah.
You mentioned the pandemic earlier.
Yes.
So I wonder if it's due to the pandemic that we just realized, number one, that, tomorrow's not promised.
That's correct.
We recognize the impermanence of everything. We recognize our power because we were put in a situation where we had to learn
That's right.
our power. But I think the main thing is that realizing and coming to an understanding that we are in so much more control of our lives, fully control of our lives. Like, okay, look, no, I'm not going through this. I'm not going. Like you said, I've loaned you money.
Yeah.
I've lost it before. You didn't pay it back before, and I've lost sleep. I've stressed over this. I've made myself sick, over this, over helping and giving, of myself, parts of myself that I needed to keep for myself, keep a little bit, to me.
For emergency, because I think the pandemic just gave us more time to reflect.
Yeah. That's true.
And look within and say, wow, I could do a better job in this area.
Yeah.
I need to work on this on self-care. And so again, it helps you to think more, but also reflect and say, how can I be a better person? And then it sort of prioritize your friends. Some of us lost friends. Some of us outgrew relationships. Some of us outgrew people, period.
That's right.
So I just think, to me, it just made you be still because we always running. And part of self-care is to be still and meditate. Slow down. It made us slow down.
Definitely. And we all needed it.
Yeah. We didn't get to go out and eat every day, you know. I mean, it slowed up everything.
And we went to sleep early. I know I did.
Yes. I kept our house clean. I went out to, I never forget, I was at my mom's house and we went to Home Depot. I said, oh yeah, let's change your floor. And Home Depot said this was the most busiest time of the year for them. Everybody was remodeling their house and their workspace and workplace. And I said, that is so, everybody had an office.
That's right.
Everybody changed everything.
Right.
So something good did come out of it. It really did. It made you go back but for me, it helped me to be still and look within and just say, you know, you got work to do on you. Don't look at anybody else. Let's work on you.
Now, would you tell everybody how many books you've written and published?
Okay, let's start with the first one.
Yes, let's start with my first book. This is called Ring the Bell. And as a principal and as a reading teacher, the one thing I always wanted for all my students was that every student could read and perform on grade level. Parents send us to school. Send to school the best that they have. And so when they send their child to school, they want to make sure their kids are engaged in the learning and they are learning. And when kids cannot read and perform on grade level, I felt as though we did not do our job. And so this was the first book I read, and it was like how to work with poverty students and helping teachers and educators to understand that, you know, we're the expert. It's just like when you go to the doctor. Would you continue to go to your doctor if he was not treating your symptoms? You do what?
Found another doctor.
Okay. Then as educators, if I can't get this child to read and learn, what would you do? You would take your child where?
Right, somewhere else.
Okay. So we don't have that opportunity. We are educators and we have to provide strategies and treat the symptoms that whatever this child is missing, is our job to fix it. So ring the bell, literacy is everyone's problem. So when kids cannot read, it's not just the educator problem, it's not just the parents' problem, it's everybody's problem. So if we all work together, we can get all our students and all kids to be able to read and perform on grade level. Because as we get ready now for the MAP test, again, you know, it's because kids can't read and perform on grade level. They can't comprehend. They can't do math problems to under comprehend. So again, that was the first book to help me to understand, to help educators to understand that, listen, you know, this is what we got to work with. We can't change this. And then make yourself a priority. You know, self-care is essential for your well-being. And, you know, putting yourself at the top of your own priority list. You know, like I said, we prioritize everybody else, but hey, make yourself a priority, you know? And then you look at time for me, self-care and wellness. Relax, recharge, and reflect. Sometimes it's okay to do nothing.
Right.
That was my favorite quote on this one. So, you know, looking at it from their perspective. And then your financial self-care 101. You know, when I look at this book here, and of course I put a couple of quotes in there, and it said, wealth is not having a lot of money. It's about having a lot of options. I mean that, you know, if you got some money,
your options are
exactly
plenty.
That's right.
So looking at that from their perspective, right. And then as an educator, self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. Is that taking care of yourself first. Let me say, take care of yourself first. If you're not taking care of yourself, you can't take care of your students. And that's what we have to learn as educators. And then the next one is my book that I really enjoy called The Future Education. This is teaching Black and Brown students in the virtual world during the pandemic. This was the one that, you know, when you start looking at, I guess, African-American kids, and then you look at white students that go to private school. Let's be truthful, during the pandemic, it didn't bother them.
It didn't bother them, right.
No, because why?
They had resources, they had computers,
yes, ma'am.
They had access.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Tutors, all of that.
Yes, ma'am. And then poverty kids, we had to look for what?
Computers.
Hotspots. So again, you know, looking at it from a different angle, that again, you know, why is it that when we look at African-American kids that we get left behind again? And now that they back at school, we're doing double because they got behind.
Catch up. Yeah.
That is correct. And then I have the quiet storm, understanding mental health. And it said, let's talk about mental health, because the more we talk about it, the more we empower others to say, I'm actually not okay. And then the one thing that really made me write this book called The Quiet Storm, when you look at people in your family or people you may know that have had a nervous breakdown, some people call it in the African-American family, the first thing we tell people is to what? Go to church and what? Pray what? Pray about it.
Pray about it.
That's it. When we have problems and we stressed out, what we say?
Don't worry about it, pray about it.
Exactly.
Said, right?
But sometimes, when I think about that, well, what did Michelle Obama say? She had low-grade what? Depression.
Mm-hmm.
So when she finally said she had low-grade depression, and then you got Tom Brady, who, the quarterback, MVP, and when different celebrities start saying that they suffer with mental health, Sabaya Moms and all the different people, then people say, oh, that's okay. But then we are just regular, everyday people that don't want to be honest about, hey, I'm struggling. I'm not okay today. But why is that we can't be transparent and be honest about I'm struggling? Right. But they can come forward and we look at them like, okay, Antonio Brown. Let's think about him. He went on the football field, took his jersey off and ran wild and everything. And everybody like, he needs some help. What's wrong with him? But they celebrities. And if they got problems, can you imagine how we feel every day? Come on. Yeah, we struggling just like everybody else, but it's okay. But we never hear people say, what? It's okay. It's something wrong with you. You weak. Right. Girl, get over that stuff. Let that go. Right. He'll be back. Right. You still depressed over that?
That's it. That's one.
Right.
Girl, you still tired of talking about that.
Right. Yes.
Or it's worse things happen out there. Like don't minimize it. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So just being truthful. And the last one is becoming a bestseller. And I must say, when I wrote all these books, it was during the pandemic pretty much that I had that time again to be still and made these connections like, okay, this is a journey. So when I look at all 8 books, it was during the pandemic that I was able to just reflect, be still, and just start looking at my life and saying, okay, yes, I need to do some work on me. And so in order to become a bestseller, you got to be able to be honest with yourself, but also go on your own journey to look at your own health and wellness, but looking at where you are in life as an African-American woman. You have to.
And do any of your books touch on self-care within relationships, like romantic relationships, or is that your next book?
I always wanted to look at it from a different angle, from saying, what would that look like in a relationship? But when I started looking at my life and saying, okay, I got work to do there as well. But I think I just really looked at it from a perspective of when you look at females, you look at men's, because even in this book here, it talks about self-care for men.
Okay.
And I put it in here because I said, well, you know what? Men's need to practice self-care too, because
talking about
we always look at it from a woman perspective. And so when I think about it, it said right here, it said, where is that part? Self-care and wellness for men. And that's on page 18. Let me see what that says, just to give you a little piece of that. It said, right here, it talks about
like this.
Self-care is not a gender-specific necessity. Everyone needs to practice self-care on a regular basis for plenty of reasons. For example, it reduces the effect of stress. Right here. Men are typically seen as strong or impervious to illness and injury. For a variety of reasons, men sometimes equate their self-worth with how much they put on their plate and handle. Some people view men who take the time to take care of themselves as weak or feminine. It has taken society a long time to recognize and accept the importance of self-care for men.
That's right.
And so even though men go to the barbershop and, now they get pedicures and manicures and all that, everybody needs to go on their own self-care journey. Because if nothing else, your emotional or your mental health, we all got work to do.
We do.
And it looked different, as I said, for everybody. It looked different.
Definitely. Well, we have enjoyed you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I believe it's a link to this video to Dr. Morrow's videos. I
Okay.
mean, her books. I'm sorry.
It's all
where
on
you can purchase
Amazon.
these. All of them are on Amazon. And yeah, this is.
Well, we started this year off talking about, well, actually into last
I
year.
think,
last year.
Was it like our first show? I think
it's
our
a big
first
topic
show
here.
was about self-love.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Self-love and
And
self-care. Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely a main focus here. We'll
becoming
continue.
more. I think it was self-love and becoming more something throughout the year. Loving ourselves better through the year. Loving ourselves better for the year. So this is
Yes.
perfect.
So it is a
Thank
journey,
you.
like she said. So we will continue the journey.
We have to continue the journey, because we all got work to do.
Yes.
And so whether it's your finance self-care, whether it's make yourself a priority, whether it's time for me, I'm sure your spiritual self-care, your Saturday self-care, your social self-care,
Right.
we all got work to do. You just got to figure out, looking at your schedule, how do you provide that self-care journey that you need? And where does it fit in? And how are you going to prioritize it?
Right.
And if you didn't see, the Time for Me, Self-Care and Wellness is the one that had the chapter for men wellness in it. So that's the book that you would look for that one too.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you all for the
Thank you for
invitation.
coming, Dr.
Thank you. Thank you.
Loved you. Oh my gosh. And we'll definitely have you back on. So
True, that would
we
never
have
come back.
yeah. So
Because my next book I'm working on.
yes, what?
What's
the next book you're working on?
Why is self-care so hard for Black women?
Okay.
Look at that.
See?
Yes.
I woke up this morning at 3
Oh wow.
and I said,
That's the
okay,
magic hour.
I receive it.
Yeah.
It is.
And I thought about you and I said, okay,
Right now.
coming soon.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. So
That's
it's
right.
on the shelves.
It got to. Why
We're gonna have
is
it
self-care? I mean, why is it a struggle?
Yeah.
I mean, what part of self-care are you struggling with? I'm just curious because I like to hear
That's
from
good.
Right.
what part?
For me, it's delegating
Okay.
and allowing myself to rest and recharge. So even though
So what did you learn that behavior that you could not pull back or release that power?
I'm sure from
to-
my mom,
Okay.
my grandmother. My mom worked like 2 or 3 jobs.
Okay. And
So, and it was
continuous.
continuous. And then it was no time to lay down. Like my mom was, y'all sleeping? No. Sleeping for what? We trash out, leaves on the ground. It was always something that had to be done. And I think, and I became a single mother, not playing like most of us. So, but becoming that single mother, I think I kind of, wanted to make sure that I was balancing everything correctly. And by balancing everything correctly, I mean that nothing could fall. Everything had to be perfect or appear to be perfect or look, so. And that just wears you out. The house has to be clean. The children have to be clean. Everybody has to be fed. The job has to be done, correctly. And it was no sleep.
Okay.
It's funny because going off of that, like you said earlier, it is our generation, generational.
Very much so.
But I've noticed that these millennials, they don't.
Oh, they're not playing.
Nah,
The job, they're not putting up with the mess.
that's right.
They're saying no. I'm taking,
Yeah.
like you said,
And
all
we
my
up.
all my PTO.
Right.
Yeah, there's none left
I'm
over.
proud of them. I'm so happy.
Right? I love
Right.
it.
I know.
Yes.
I think they looked at us and our grandmothers
Yes.
and our mothers and
Yes.
were like, yeah, no.
I
That's
don't
right.
want to go through that.
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So good for them.
So again, excellent, because it's shifting. The
Yes.
journey, the self-care journey, the movement,
Yes, it is.
the millennial saying, no.
No, it's not.
And then
happening.
the one part that I'm proud of, my nieces,
Mm.
they would talk about their mental health
I love it. It's
openly.
no longer taboo.
That is
Right.
correct.
There's
They
no
proud
shame
of
behind
it.
Yes.
Right.
TT, I can't do it. My anxiety. Oh, I can't get in that car. It's too much stuff in there. Oh no, I can ride in that car. Look, did you see her trunk?
Right.
Did you see the back seat? And
Right.
she said, that's not good for my mental health. And I was like, Wow. I'm proud of you.
Right, wow.
Structure, organization.
The organization.
Knowing what caused you anxiety, what caused you stress.
And having the courage to say no.
Yes.
Right.
So we couldn't talk about that.
I love that.
And I'm so proud of them. 22, 24. I'm like, yes.
Right.
I'm very
just have a
supported.
breakdown later.
Yes.
Right, you're like,
Yes.
oh my God.
Yeah. Scoot this over. Move over. Why you so close?
And then just like, oh Jesus,
Yeah.
I can't breathe. I gotta hurry up and get out this car.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Man.
the millennial, as
Love
you
it.
just said, more open-minded and more into saying, hey, yeah, I got a mental health problem, but I'm okay with it.
Right.
Yes. It's okay.
I have
to
some
not be okay.
strategies.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes, it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay for me to talk about it because, okay,
That's right.
we all got something wrong with us. We all got work to do.
That's right.
So again, coming soon, why do Black women struggle with self-care?
Love it.
So
Mm.
that's next.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, next on to our announcements.
Yeah.
What is today? Today's Tuesday, right?
Today is Tuesday, so this is tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Healing Energy workshop by Master Energy Worker Kelly Wembley. So that will be here in this space of Love and Light Cuisine at 6 p.m. Price is $25, which you're able to Cash App. Go to our page, you'll see the flyer. So we might just put it underneath the Tuesday Table Talks too.
Yes.
So that is tomorrow. And of course, Friday is our open mic night.
Yes.
So that is every Friday. So that's open mic night. And
Saturday the 11th, is it?
yeah, that's 11. So we got a little time. Saturday 11 is our brunch and biz. So any entrepreneurs or those who want to become entrepreneurs, come on March 11th, 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. here. So
Free
that's-
networking.
Yeah, free networking, and we have some tips and stuff about the workshops that will be coming up here for that, and how we can, monetize our businesses and boost our businesses and get our financial, literacy and stuff together, and get that network, get that money going.
2023.
Right. And I'm missing. Next Tuesday, our special guest is Frederick James. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, also known as Rickathon. So,
So excited. I'm so excited to have Rick on the show. He is a wonderful man, a wonderful part of the community, does a lot of great work on the East Side.
yes.
And we need that over there. So he's working with youth over there. So again, it's going to be an amazing conversation. Can't wait for that.
Me either. So super exciting. So that concludes this episode of Tuesday Table Talks, and we will see you all next Tuesday. Yeah. Let's see. Get out of this like always.
And I always dance at the end.
Yeah, we do.
Because we-
Yes.
Like the view.
Yeah.